Good evening. So we are continuing with the Uddhava Gita. Now we are trying to finish as much as possible both Uddhava Gita as well as the Bhagavad Gita. So there might be an overlap somewhere. So don't mind it. So we are doing the Uddhava Gita and this is about worship. Worshipping Krishna in certain format. So Krishna is giving Uddhava the explanation. So we don't Uddhav Gita, this is chapter 22 and verse 32 onwards. If you recollect, he had yesterday told us how we can have different kinds of images which can be made of different 8 different kinds of substances like wood and stone and gold and so on and so forth, and the different kinds of ingredients which can be used. Then water is to be used. Water is to be used for washing the feet as well as the being of that particular entity and so on and so forth. So all these were explained. So today we are going to progress from 32 verse onwards. So Uddhava Gita chapter 22 verse 32 onwards. Full of love, my devotee should appropriately decorate me with clothes, holy thread, ornaments, leaf patterns, garlands, scents, and sandal paste. Now, the image of Sri Krishna that is there. Now, this particular image, whichever image that you are worshipping of Sri Krishna, it could be even a painting, it doesn't matter. He is saying that we should decorate it appropriately. Decoration has to be done of that appropriately with clothes. Now, if it is an image, naturally, if it's maybe a stone image or whatever, then you can just drape it by means of cloth, holy thread, ornaments, different kinds of ornaments. So, if you have seen our temple here, you have seen those ornaments also. I'm sure you have seen the different kinds of ornaments that it is adorning Krishna's body. And leaf patterns. When he is talking of leaf patterns, it is basically the different places of his body where different kinds of leaves are used. You will find that at the feet, you will find that there is a tulsi mala put over there, so on and so forth. Garland scents, different kinds of garlands are used. Now, garlands which are aromatic in nature. So, there are certain flowers which are recommended. Please understand that we are not going to put flowers which are not meant for him. That means we try to avoid lilies. See, lilies are used for a different purpose. Again, there are certain things which we avoid. These are those what we call as genda or jhendu as we call it in Marathi. Now that is to be avoided. That is used for decoration of the main entrance and so on and so forth. We don't decorate the body of Krishna with that. But in some places where flowers are not available, because flowers are not available everywhere in India, only in some places they are available. So for flower garlands that are there, they are made of very fragrant kind of flowers. Now you will find that in South India there are lots of flowers that are very fragrant, like the different kinds of mallis that are there, the chamelis and mallis and so on and so forth. I don't know the local names over here, but they are used. Then there is the Madras rose is there. It is supposed to be very aromatic. It has got a very strong aroma. It is liked by Krishna. So you will find that those roses are used, and then the scents are put. Whatever scent that is available, that is put, and sandal paste is a must. So whenever you are decorating Krishna, you should always use sandal paste, because his body has to be smeared with sandal paste, and they use it for making his other decorations. So we move to the next verse, verse 33 of chapter 22 of the Uddhava Gita. The worshipper should first offer me with faith various presents such as water for washing the feet and mouth, scent flowers, sunrise, grains, incense, and light. Now, he is given a particular thing what we have to do. So first you have to offer me with faith. Now, If you are just going over there for just for the heck of it, don't do that. It has to be offered with faith. Normally, when people are offering certain things, they have certain thoughts going on in their mind. Why should I do this? Why should I do that? It's not necessary, people think. But this is a way of honoring someone, correct? And Krishna is the highest. So we have to honor him in certain manner. Like water has to be given for washing the feet and mouth. Scent, flowers, sunned rice. Now the rice which is available in the marketplace is not a sunned rice. You will find that that particular rice is come from some rice mill. So if you can get sunned rice, the rice which is used by natural processing, in the villages you will find those kind of rice available. You can use that rice. Incense, different kinds of incenses, and light. When you have to do the arti, you use the lights. So next we go to the next verse. This is verse 34 from chapter 22 of the Uddhava Gita. Having got the means, he should offer me the following kinds of food: preparations of molasses, sweetened milk, rice, ghee, different kinds of flour cakes and sweets, curds and vegetable dishes. Now this is a very important thing which we need to understand. You will find that the whole of the world is moving towards what is called as veganism. Okay, now veganism means basically you are trying to avoid milk products and products which come from the animals. Now here what we have to do is, Krishna is very clear that in Gokul Dham, in place where Krishna was born and various other places which is called the Braj Bhumi, he is always worshipped by milk and milk products. So he is saying over here what is to be done. Now in this there are two things which he is talking about. Molasses. Now when we say molasses, we call it as good, jaggery. Now in olden times there was no purification of jaggery, that is why it was called jaggery. But nowadays there is a purification process and we call it sugar. Okay, now people think that giving sugar to Krishna is not the right thing, but Krishna is mentioning it very clearly over here. What are the things to be given? Preparations of molasses, which means any kinds of sweets that are there, they have to be offered to him. Sweetened milk, rice, that is the kheer as we call it. Milk, rice, sweetened by means of sugar again. Now they put some kind of dry fruits and so on and so forth. You can put that and make kheer out of it. Kheer is a porridge, kind of a porridge. If you Google kheer, maybe you will understand. Now this is also made from rice. See, normally in India we offer different kinds of kheer. Krishna's love is about rice kheer. So ghee is a must. See, we do not use vegetable oils and all other things for food preparation. Normally, where Krishna is concerned, all the things have to be made in pure ghee. Now, ghee that comes in India is normally not so pure. Let me assure you one thing, that when people buy ghee, which they go in for what is called as organic ghee and all, please don't go for it, because they literally cut your throat just by putting some branding over there. Don't go by that. Karnataka has got the most nutritious ghee available. Here, I should not be plugging it, but I am going to, because it's the same ghee that is used in some of the biggest of the temples in India. We have the Nandini ghee, which is available for approximately 400 or 500 rupees a kg. That's it. It is the cheapest and the best. It's the most aromatic ghee in India. At other places, what they do is they put some kind of an agent inside the ghee which gives off a particular smell, and they will say, oh, this is made by means of the cow dung and stuff like that. Don't go for it, because that they sell it anywhere between 800, 1000, 1600, 1200, whatever rate, and people foolishly want to buy those. I would rather you don't go in for it. This ghee which I am talking about is the cheapest and the best in India. Alright. So even in Tirupati Balaji's temple, the same ghee is used. It is used in massive quantity. So avoid vegetable oils if possible, and do most of your cooking in ghee, pure ghee. different kinds of flour cakes. That means all kinds of flours. There are different kinds of flours that are available. With the flours you can make different kinds of food items. You will find that besan laddus, this, that, so many other things are there. I just gave an example, doesn't mean that you have to make that. Again, you will find that the rava laddus are there, besan laddus are there. All these kinds of sweets are there. Krishna loves sweets. Let me tell you one thing. See, in his world, he is a lover of all sweet stuff. Okay, so don't deny him all that. So, sweet stuff. Sweets, curds, and vegetable dishes. Different kinds of curds are available. You will find they make rabdi also. Curds is there, and then they do make chas out of it. Chas is I don't know what they call it in English, but you can just um, all right, and then the flavoring it also is very important. So do that. Then we move to the next verse. This is verse 35, chapter 22 of the Uddhava Gita. There should take place daily or on special days function rubbing of scented powders, presenting of a mirror, washing of the teeth, ablutions, offering of different kinds of food, music, and dance. This is what Krishna loves. What are the things that are there? Whenever, if it is possible for you, you can do this on daily. Now remember, he has said if you have got the means. Some people don't have the means, so they can celebrate once in a year, it's not a problem. But if you have the wherewithal, then you can do it on a regular basis also, doesn't matter, or on important days, whatever important days that are there. Yesterday when I was making fun of these people, I said, you know what, I got so many birthdays throughout the year. So yeah, how is it possible? So I said, you see, my first birthday was gone, 4th of March. Okay, that's the day I entered this body. Very good. Then 5th of April is another day where this body's birthday is there. Then I said there is also Guru Purnima. Alright, Guru Purnima is there. Again, it is coming somewhere in the month of July. Then we have Krishna Janmashtami coming. And at the end of the year, we have what is called as a Dattatreya Jayanti. In between also there are lots of festivals and functions going on. Like say for example, Dashera is there where we do the celebrations. Then we have Diwali, and Holi we don't celebrate so much. Holi is on a low key, but it is celebrated, of course, no doubt about it. So you will find that these are the so many birthdays of Krishna. Okay, you can just imagine that. So many celebrations. Here Krishna is saying, even if you can celebrate every day, it does not matter to me. Alright? So, what is done over here? Rubbing of scented powders. There are different kinds of powders available. In Diwali we use a certain kind of a powder which is called utna. Alright? It is mixed with some scented stuff. Alright? So that is used. Different kinds of powders are used. If you go to the South Indian temple, you will find that all different kinds of powders are used there also. Mostly it has got sandal paste in it. Alright? Presenting of the mirror. Now mirror is required. Krishna loves to see himself. So you have to present a mirror also. Washing of his teeth, ablutions, offering of different kinds of food. I have already told you about food, different kinds of food. You have to make as many foods. He loves chappan bhog, 5, 6. Chappan means 56. 56 types of different dishes are there which he loves to eat. So, I'll tell you one very funny story that happened with me. Now, I go to Mathura very rarely. So, whenever I have gone to this particular place and I was visiting once. Now, this happened in 2007. Now, when I was visiting this particular place, Mathura, I reached at a time when everything was closed. So in the afternoon, I believe they closed those places. So I had reached over there. Now I was very thirsty and hungry. Now I stood in just where the jail is, where he was born. So I was sitting inside over there, and there were all those gun-toting security people with all the uniforms and all. But I was sitting over there peacefully, quietly under a tree. So suddenly this particular, it's a temple, very beautiful temple just there itself. So this temple opens, and the person says, you can come and sit inside over here because it's quite hot outside. So he made me sit inside, and then he put on this massive, air cooler. huge air cooler. I must have gone during the summer, so naturally the place was, it's very, very hot. So he put on the air cooler and there was the rose water in it. So the nice fragrance of rose, rose fragrance was there. So I was just sitting there peacefully and they had drawn a curtain and they were feeding Krishna. This is afternoon time, so naturally they were feeding Krishna. So I was just sitting over there waiting. I said, I will see this, this particular darshan I'll have. After that, I will go. Maybe I don't know where I will go and eat. And I was just thinking about it. And then after some time, they opened that thing and there was a very beautiful Krishna's image over there, and I was just sitting, standing over there, or maybe sitting, I don't recollect now, and I was just enjoying the darshan. And suddenly the Panditji over there says, I'm so happy that you came today. And then he offered me this chappan bhog. You will be amazed to know. He offered me the chappan bhog. First he offered that God over there, Krishna in that image, and then he offered this Krishna over here, and I had a very hearty meal over there. So, so it was very strange and funny, and I really loved it. So this is what happened. So Krishna's meals are always elaborate. You should see the elaborate meals that he has. All right? Because he's a lover of food, dance, music, and all those things. Okay. The one God who enjoys all this, he is called the Rasika, one who enjoys. See, in the material world, there is a lot of enjoyment that happens. Human beings enjoy all kinds of nonsensical stuff. Here, Krishna is enjoying. Remember, he had taken a form. And because he had taken a form as a human, so naturally he was replaying those entire actions that happens in the Goloka. Alright? So remember, when we are praying to Krishna, all these things have to be included. That means food, music, dance. Okay? So last time when one of my disciples was here, we had a small 5 minutes or 10 minutes of dance also. Alright? So now because of the pandemic times, it is not possible to have, but we definitely would love to in the future. Let us see. So we move to the next verse. This is chapter 22 of the Uddhava Gita, verse 36. Now Krishna is giving this explanation to Uddhava. Remember this. Just before he passed away. That is, the passing away of Krishna happens after this. So let us see what he is saying. And Krishna himself is telling him the different methodologies involved. So verse 36 says, lighting a fire in a pit made according to the rules with a girdle cavity and altar, he should collect it when kindled from all sides with his hand. Now basically, please understand, if you are making the homam over there, where that you burn the wood and all those things. So basically, if you are doing that, see, there are different methodologies given. This is one of them. What did Krishna say in the beginning? He said there are 3 methods. One is Vedic, one is Tantric, and one is the mixed one. And he is giving a mix of everything. Now it is as per your needs and as per your wherewithal. There is no force. You can just give him a piece of leaf also, leaf, tulsi leaf also, and he is going to be totally happy. If you understand what Krishna is saying, then you will not be grudging anything. Alright? See, where Draupadi was concerned, one day when Krishna went to meet her, now this was a deliberate attempt, please understand this. Krishna had to save her from Durvasa Muni. Durvasa Muni had come in the afternoon to have lunch with the Pandavas. And Draupadi she had just finished the meal. And she had washed everything and kept it in the corner. Now she was wondering now what to do. Durvasa Muni had said that he had come with a horde of other, Swamijis with him. So what to do? How do you feed them? And suddenly Krishna, I told you, he is the one who always saves everybody. So Krishna comes over there. And he says to Draupadi, he says, can you give me something to eat? I'm very hungry, She says, no, I don't have anything. Remember, Draupadi had a Akshay Patra. Akshay Patra is a magic vessel. I wish all people in India, those who are listening to this satsang will want to have the Akshay Patra, because then they don't have to order from Zomato and Swiggy and all those people. I'm sure you would love to have that. But let us go to this Akshay Patra. So that Akshay Patra was there, but she says she had washed and kept it. Now it was lying open. Krishna says there must be something to eat. She says, no, I have finished everything. So he goes to the vessels, and inside the vessel there is one grain of rice sticking inside. So he takes that grain of rice and puts it in his mouth. And he says, I feel satiated by doing that. And then what happens? All this Durvasa Muni and all his gang had gone for a bath at the riverside. They all feel trupt, as if they have had a very hearty meal. There is no scope for any more meal. And this is the way in which Krishna saves everyone. The more devotion that you have for Krishna, Krishna's job is to literally take you out of every problem in this world. Let me assure you one thing for sure. The more you are a devotee of Krishna, he takes care of you. It is called love and devotion for Krishna. Please understand, every other god in the pantheon that we have, the whole, literally, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, everybody, all included. They will tell you different methodologies. Do this, do this, do this, do this. All kinds of pariharams and all that. Krishna's way is totally different. He says, I don't care about all these things. In my world, just give me that little bit of love. Unconditional love. Only me, don't nobody else. And single pointed devotion. Then once you are mine, I will take care of anything. Nobody can do anything about it, because I will handle the whole situation for you. That is fine. Right, we move to the next verse. So we are doing chapter 22, verse 37 of the Uddhava Gita. Then spreading the kusa grass around it, he should sprinkle water around. Having put faggots into the fire, according to the prescribed rule, place the different offerings near it. He should sprinkle the sacred water from the pitcher on it and meditate on me thereon. That is when you are doing the puja inside that, lighting the fire and so on and so forth. Now, I am not going to go into the depth of it, because I think in today's day and age, lighting fire at home and all those things would be a little bit dangerous. Alright? But again, depends on you. So we move to the next one, which is verse 38, chapter 22 of the Uddhava Gita. Like heated gold in complexion, with 4 arms bearing gracefully a conch, disc, a club and a lotus, Serene wearing a cloth of the colors of lotus stamens. Now, how does he look like? Now remember, the form that we are worshipping is the 4-armed form. 4-armed form. This is the form which is to be worshipped. Radha with Krishna is a different form. There he doesn't have 4 arms. He has got 2 arms only. Here we are talking about only Krishna worship. So where Krishna worship is concerned, he has got a 4-armed form. He's got a like heated gold in complexion, with 4 arms bearing gracefully a conch. Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma is what is mentioned over here. Wearing a cloth of the color of lotus stamens. Now you will find that what are the colors of the stamens? There are 2 colors mentioned over here. One is the purplish kind of color. I don't know what that is called. In Marathi we call it sola. I don't know in other languages what they call. That particular color is there. Then yellow color is there in that. So these are certain colors that he uses in his dhoti. The dhoti that is. Yeah. So we'll move to the next one. So we are doing chapter 22 verse 39. Uddhava Gita wearing a shining diadem, bracelets, waistband, splendid armlets with a curled Srivatsa on his chest, radiant with the jewel Kaustubh, and wearing a garland of wildflowers. This we had already described, so we are describing it once again. Wearing a shining diadem, now if you actually look at the image which we have over here, you will find that we are always decorating it in this manner. So there are different bracelets that are there that are put on him. Waistband is put. You will find different armlets are put, baju banda as we call it. Now I don't know what they call it in English, so I'm just saying what is written over there. Armlets, the crown over there, with the curl Srivatsa on the chest, radiant. The Srivatsa is, like I told you, it is the white tuft of hair that is there on the chest of Krishna. Though he is a dark skinned person, completely dark skinned, but he has got white hair on his chest. Alright? And radiant with jewel kaustup and wearing a garland of wildflowers. So he loves wildflowers because remember, he used to roam around everywhere in the jungles. So naturally, whatever flowers that were there, again, fragrant ones. In the jungles also there are fragrant flowers, so they would make different kinds of garlands for him. Alright, so we go to the next one. This is 40 to 41. Chapter 22, Uddhava Gita, verse 40 and 41. After meditating and worshipping me, he should put faggots soaked in the ghee into the fire, perform 2 agraharas and the 2 homas, and uttering the principal mantra and the Purush Sukta for each stanza of the letter, offer oblations soaked in ghee, making duly with the appropriate mantras, offering to virtue each, as well as the offering called the Shree Krita. I don't know what it is. It's made to the fire, he says. So anyway, coming back to this. Now these are those who are interested in the Vidhi. Currently, you will find that only the Panditjis that are there, they perform all these Vidhis. Common people like you and me may not have the wherewithal to do this kind of things. So maybe you can open up the YouTube and do it. I don't know how it is done. So here he is just giving an example of what you have to do. So if you remember, we were there having that square kund over there, and after putting in all the sticks that are required, again there are different kinds of sticks that are to be used. You will find that if you are following a particular methodology, that methodology you can get only from the people, those who know the techniques. So you and me, we are of the modern type, so we hardly know what faggots are being put. So yeah. Alright, so yeah, so we will do the next verse. Okay, sorry. Right, so we are doing verse 42 now. So chapter 22 verse 42 of the Uddhava Gita. Then worshipping and saluting me, the wise man should offer food to my attendants, and thinking of Brahma manifested as Narayana, he should repeat the principal mantras. Now here again, if you go to the temples of Krishna, wherever they might be in India, you will find that there are attendants also. There are different kinds of attendants. If you have been to ISKCON temple or some of those temples in the nearby areas, wherever you are staying, wherever there is a Krishna temple, so there are the attendants that are there with him. Maybe some gopas, gopis are there. Maybe you will find the darwans are there. Basically the true people who stand outside the doors. You must have seen. If you go to Tirupati and all, you will find that. If you go to Pandharpur also, it is there somewhere. So offering them also is important. So he says you have to offer food to my attendants, and thinking of Brahma manifested as Narayana. Remember, now this is one thing which I had always told you. The unmanifest, which is called the Brahma, remember, the Brahma is the unmanifest, and from that comes the manifest divinity. The first form of manifest divinity is called the Narayana. Alright? So Narayana is the first manifest form. Actually, it is still not manifest, it is in the fluid state. So the Purusha Prakriti principle comes from there itself. So that is the split principle over there. One is the active principle and the passive principle. The active principle is the Prakriti. The passive principle is the Purusha. So these are there. If you are a Sakta, those who follow the Shaivite religion, they are called the Shiv and the Shakti principle. The Shiv principle is the passive principle. The Shakti principle is the active principle. Before that, they are in the form of one entity. Later on, they split so that the work can get done. So the Narayana, Brahma manifested as Narayana, has to be worshipped. And then we have to chant the principal mantra. Whatever the mantra your guru might have given, that has to be chanted. So we go to verse 43. So this is chapter 22, verse 43. Having offered me the water for washing the mouth, he should first should offer the remnants of my foods to Vishwaksena, then he should offer me things to chew such as fragrant beetle, etc., and again worship me. Now, during the times of Krishna, you will find that there was an elaborate ritual for giving him what we call as a bida. Now, bida in India means you have the betel leaf, okay, and the betel leaf is covered by certain things, and then a certain fragrant stuff is put inside, a different betel nut and so on and so forth is put inside, made into a triangular format and covered, and then it is offered. Now, that was a very elaborate process. To have those betel leaves is very important for Krishna. Please understand. Because it is associated with Radharani. Alright? There are very beautiful episodes. Now, this is again not the time to talk about those episodes, but there are certain episodes where these kind of betel leaves are offered to Krishna by Radha herself. Now, she had the knack and she had the technique of making those along with her gopikas. So they were all involved in different processes. Now you will find that in the betel leaf, there are number of items put so that it becomes literally a wonderful concoction, a very beautiful stuff which you have to eat. Now, whenever you go to the North India, you will find that Banaras and all those places, Vrindavan and all, that these are very fragrant kind of betel leaves available. It's not the regular kind of betel leaves. So that betel leaf is used. Alright. So all these are offered to Krishna. So, right. So we will move to the next verse. We are doing chapter 22, verse 44 of the Uddhava Gita. He should be wrapped for some time in singing to and praising me, dancing, acting my deeds, and listening to and narrating my exploits. Now, this is something which you will find we all have to do. People may think, oh, this fellow is a nutcase. Don't bother about people. When you are doing the dance for Krishna, don't bother about people. Sing songs. Go in an ecstatic mood. Sing, glorify him. You see, he is one God who loves singing, dancing and all these kind of activities. So, like tomorrow and day after, if you were to be in Mathura, Vrindavan and all these places, the place is literally chock-a-block, filled with human beings. And everywhere they celebrate this holy festival. So you will find that colors are splashed all over the place. People all become different color. Especially if you are going to the temples and if you are going in the streets, you will be totally drenched with color. It's a color festival. It's called the festival of Holi. So it's like that. So there they all sing and dance and make really a beautiful fun. Now, it's not like that Navaratri festival, okay? Please understand one thing. Navaratri festival is a deterioration of all these good stuff into what is being used like today's day and age. People have degraded themselves that thing to such a manner where young boys and girls will meet and run away by saying to their parents, I'm going for this dandiya ras and all that. That bullshit doesn't happen over here. Please understand one thing. This is a holy festival. Okay? Holy. Alright? Holi and Holy both. So, because it's a holy thing, it is all about love for Krishna. Not love for your lover boy, whoever he might be. No, please don't misunderstand this and take it in the wrong way. Alright? It is all about thinking of Krishna and how he would have played these different kinds of festivals. So he should be in rapt attention for some time in singing and praising me, dancing, acting my deeds, listening and narrating my exploits. So we go to the next verse. Right. So we are doing chapter 22, verse 45, praising me with various hymns and odes composed by the ancients as well as the moderns. We should prostrate himself before me, saying, Lord, be gracious unto me. Now, Krishna himself is talking about this. He is saying that there were some old songs also, praising him, and there are some new. So during the time of Krishna, there were new songs, and now there are much more newer. Okay, I'm not talking about all those dandiya festival, dum 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 dum. I am not talking of that. I am talking of some real good songs that are there, which have good meanings, not the kind of meanings that we have today. So we are talking of really good songs. So we have to praise him, okay, with various hymns and odes composed exclusively for Krishna. Please remember this. There are some really very, very beautiful songs that were written by some of the very, old traditional kind of songs have been written. And in the past, say, 10 centuries, there have been so many saints who have written very beautifully about Krishna. So whether it is Surdas or any other, you can go and sing those kind of songs. So that is what he is saying. So sing those songs, dance in glory of Krishna alone. So we go to the next verse. We are doing chapter 22, verse 46. Placing his head at my feet and holding them with both his hands correspondingly, he should say, Lord, save me from the ocean of transmigration with the shark of death in it, of which I am terribly afraid. I have taken refuge in thee. So how do you praise Krishna? You have to hold on to his feet. And what is the benediction that you are asking? Please understand, for any other god anywhere else, the benediction that you are asking is give me money, give me this, give me that, and all those things. But from Krishna, we have to only ask for, can you cut off this cycle of rebirths that we have? This transmigration that is there, keep on coming again and again and again. Rebirths is very, very difficult. So you have to say, please save me from this transmigration. Give me mukti. Alright? I want liberation. Those who are true devotees of Krishna, they will not ask for liberation also. One day, one of my disciples, in the initial days, so she came to me and she said, I am looking for only liberation. I want realization. I want liberation. I said, okay, but you will change your stance very soon. So being with me for a couple of years, then I asked her, do you still want your liberation or your realization? She says, no, I don't want. I said, why? What happened? She says, no, I want to be with Krishna 24/7. I would love to be with him. I want to be, in his coterie, going and coming whenever he goes and he comes back from his Golok Vrindavana. So there is no question of liberation. Because when you are with Krishna, you are not interested in liberation. That is a petty thing. Please understand this. It is a petty demand for those who want to be liberated. The most beautiful thing is to be with Krishna. Please understand, he is full. In Mumbai language, as a full dhamal party is there. He does all kinds of mischief and full. He is complete by himself in every aspect. Full of fun, laughter, gaiety, you name it, everything. So wonderful. And who wouldn't want to be with him? Tell me that. He is a full, like we say, 70 millimeter stereophonic sound and all those Dolby digital, full. And Krishna say, when you want to be with Krishna, you don't ask him for anything. Just say, I just want to be with you and I want to be a part of your coterie going and coming down all the time whenever you are coming. Because Krishna doesn't, go away forever. What he does is, he just comes, goes away, comes, goes away, comes, goes away, and he is constantly available. It is not Krishna's avatar that comes, it is the Vishnu's avatar that comes. Because in our those different Dash avatars that are there, they are Vishnu's avatar, in which Krishna is one of them, no doubt about it. But Krishna on his own, the one from Goloka, is constantly coming and going. He is always there. You can just be sure about it, because he is always there. Always. Alright? So that is what you should ask for. No, but nothing else. So we'll go to the next one. So we are doing chapter 22, verse 47. Placing the token of my pleasure respectfully in the head, he should perform the valedictory ceremony. If this has to be done by merging the light that was put in the image back into the light that is in the heart. So here he is giving us a very beautiful example. What he is saying, remember, in the beginning we were talking about worshipping him inside and then outside. Now, when that light that is there, when we are shining the light on Krishna's face, and we are hoping that our light, this one soul within us, which we call as the Jivatma, merges with Krishna himself. This is the truth that everybody has to understand. So, being one with the divine is what he's talking about. So, placing the token of my pleasure respectfully on his head, he should perform the valedictory ceremony. If this is to be done by merging the light that was put in the image back into the light that is in the heart. There is a light that is shining in the heart. That is the light of the love and devotion for Krishna. And the prayer that you are doing outside. Both these merge together so that they become one. All those prayers and all, they are nothing but being one with the divine. That is the way in which Radharani or Mirabai or any of these great sages and saints have merged in him. Please remember this. He is talking about that. How beautiful can that be? I will not be able to describe that, but you have to visualize. So we move to the next verse. So we are doing chapter 22 of the Uddhava Gita, verse 48. Among the images, etc., one may worship me just in that in which he may have faith, and at any particular time, for I am the self of all and dwell in everything as well as in one's own self. Now this is the truth which you need to understand. Sometimes you will find that right from childhood, you may be having a tiny image of Krishna somewhere. Okay? Now you may think that that Krishna is different and the one in the temple is different, or the one that you are praying to, say in the ashram and all, we have these prayers going on. Krishna's images are there, too many. Right here next to me there are many. So you may be thinking, now which one should I pray to? Don't worry. The one that is the one that you love the most. It could be just a tiny photograph of his. Doesn't matter. It could be a tiny image of his. It could be a Bal Krishna. It could be anything. Any image. Whichever you love. That is all that he says. See me in that image. So you may worship me in that image. You will find that where Ramakrishna Paramahansa was concerned, there is a beautiful temple in Dakshineshwar. Okay, it is called the Radha Kanta temple. You can go and see. It's a very beautiful temple. Whenever I visit that place, I completely get mesmerized by the beautiful image of Krishna and Radha over there. So yes, that could be the image that you can go merge in. You can be having your own image at home. You can just be lost in that image. Really doesn't matter. For I am the self in all and dwell in everything as well as one's own self. So here he is giving the understanding. I am the one which is there in everything. Even in the tiny image, I am there. Who says I am not there? You can worship me in whichever way that you want to. There are no restrictions whatsoever. Just go ahead and worship me. Right. So we go to the next verse now. We are doing chapter 22, verse 49. Worshipping me thus by means of ceremonials, Vedic as well as Tantric, a man obtains me his desired boon both here and hereafter. So here Krishna is saying, so you can worship me in either the Vedic form or the Tantric form, whichever form that you wish to. See, I would rather you worship him in the Vedic form, because the Tantric form is a tad difficult for everybody. It is not for every person. And those who know that worship, they are different kind of people. But here we will be only worshipping him in the Vedic form. Very simple ritualistic way. Right? So we go to the next verse. This is chapter 22, verse 50-51 of the Uddhava Gita. Installing my image, he must have a strong temple built for it with beautiful flower gardens attached, And for the continuance of the daily worship as well as the gatherings and festivals on special days, he should make a gift of land, shops, towns, villages to support the worship, etc. By doing so, he attains a splendor equaling mine. Now, when you have this image of Krishna, when you install the image of Krishna, you have to build a strong temple. See, normally in the villages and all, or wherever you have seen the other demigods that are there, their temples are very small, very tiny ones and all that. Krishna says, when you are making my temple, make it into a very beautiful, grand temple. And there should be flower gardens all around my temple. This is what he loves. So there are different beautiful flower gardens attached to it, and there is a continuance of daily worship. If you are making a temple, then there should be a daily worship. See, this is an important aspect of worshipping Krishna. Now, Krishna's images that are there, like we have two grand images over here, but we still haven't found a place where we can install them. The moment we find a place and the temple will be established, there we will install those images. And once we have that, then everything else will follow. So, there should be a continuance of daily worship as well as gatherings and festivals on special days. So, there may be gatherings and special days are there in the year. So, those activities have to be continued over there also. And whenever possible, there should be a gift of land, shops, properties around. This is basically so that the temple can be supported. Basically, the idea is to support the temple. You will find that the temple on its own with the people coming in, yes, naturally gets certain kind of a support. But to run it in a different manner, we need this kind of an activity in and around that place. And along with it, you need the water and this and that and various other things. So all those things have to be put together properly. By doing so, he attains a splendor equaling mine. So the person who does it will get the same thing, the splendor, which is equivalent to mine. So this is what Krishna is talking about. So we are doing now the next verse, chapter 22, verse 52. By installing my image, a man attains suzerainty on earth by building a temple for it, the three worlds, by worship, etc., the sphere of Brahma, and by all the three, sameness with me. So, when you install my image, you will get suzerainty over the earth. That means anybody who puts in the image of Krishna in a temple. Okay? When you get this kind of an image, then you will be literally ruling the world. And if you build a temple in it, then you will be ruling all the three worlds. And then by worshipping me in the sphere of Brahma, all the three, basically everything that you wish for, you will be getting. So when you are doing all these three, you will get me also. So this is the truth. So we go to the next verse. So we're doing chapter 22, verse 53. By worshipping me with devotion, regardless of any other consideration, he verily attains me. This devotion is accessible to him who worships me in this way. Now, remember the question that was asked by Uddhava. Uddhava had asked this question that how do I worship you? And Krishna has given an entire chapter based on how to worship him. What are the different methodologies to be used? And you can definitely worship him in that manner. So, by worshipping me with devotion, regardless of any consideration. See, what happens is people, they have too many thoughts going on. They have too many gods in their life. Okay? What is Krishna saying? You just be devoted to me single-pointedly. Because all the demigods and every other thing that is there has come from me only. I am the super boss of everything. So I live in the second divine unmanifest. So when you are devoted to me and when you are praying to me, and regardless of any consideration, that means you should not have this idea that I want to go to this heaven, I want to go to that heaven, I want mukti, I want this, that. All the regards are there. I am praying to you so that I can get liberated. No. No. This is one thing don't ask for. Here he is saying, regardless of any consideration, don't bother about any consideration. I don't want to go to any heavens and stuff like that. Don't bother of going to any heavens. Krishna is all that is needed by anybody who is a devotee of Krishna. Just get him. That's it. Don't bother about the rest of it. So he verily attains me. This devotion is accessible to him who worships me in this way. So if you worship me in this manner, you will surely get me. That is what he is saying. So we go to the next verse. We are doing chapter 22, verse 54. He who robs the maintenance, whether awarded by himself or others, of a deity, of a Brahmana, is born as a dirty maggot for millions of years. Now this is a cautionary notice over here. People normally take money for other purposes. They rob the deity. They take things from there. They will use it for their personal welfare. So he says, if you are going to rob this maintenance, that means, now, if you are, say, let us say you have formed a trust, or if you have made something for Krishna, and this is exclusively meant for Krishna alone, for his temple and for making that particular place beautiful, the gardens and stuff like that. If you are to take anything from that for any other activity, that would be literally like robbing me. So whether he awards himself or others, if he is giving it to himself, whoever is doing this, that maintenance of the temple and the other things, if he is taking something from there or giving it to some relatives or some friends or whoever that is there, that is something Krishna doesn't tolerate. So he says, if you do this, if you take away that of the deity is the Krishna inside, and the Brahmana is the one who is worshipping him, the one who is taking care of him, the one for whom that whole thing has been created. If you are going to take away anything from this person or that person will be born as a dirty maggot for millions of years. This is something which we have to be very careful. Never take away anything from Krishna's temple which is not meant for you. Please remember this. If there are some people who have siphoned off millions and millions of rupees nowadays, big cases have been put against them, and they might be the leaders of that group also. It happened just a month or two ago here in Bangalore itself. Now you will find that is something which is Krishna himself doesn't accept. He says that you will be born as a dirty maggot in your next life. Alright, so we go to the last verse in this chapter, chapter 22 of the Uddhava Gita, verse 55. Whatever fate awaits this culprit in the next life overtakes also those who aid, instigate or abet him in the deed, or they are sharers in it. The punishment is greater in proportion to the enormity of the sin. So Krishna's views are very, very clear. If you are doing something for me, that means if you have built a temple, if you have built an image and you are worshipping me over there and you are making this into a wonderful place, see to it that all the funds that you might have gathered or the things that you might have gathered are used only for this purpose. But if you are to misuse those funds, or if you are to do something about it which is not right as per the path of dharma, if you are misusing anything, even the funds, the money, whatever, gift that might have come, and if you are putting it for some other purpose, that will become very, very dangerous sin. And you will be born only as a maggot. So he says, whatever fate awaits you, the culprit, the one who is the main perpetrator, that culprit, whatever wrong that he has done, he is anyway going to get it. But if you are a part of it, any person, he says, overtakes also those who aid. Suppose you are aiding that person, you are abetting him, you are instigating him, or doing whatever that is needed, and if you are taking a share out of it also, you will also be a part of that maggot journey. So in your million years of your existence, you will be born as a dirty maggot. This punishment is greater in proportion to the enormity of the sin. So the punishment that is being given to this kind of people who rob the deity, who rob that particular temple or whatever that comes of it, that is going to be a terrible sin for them. And that is why they do not understand this enormity of the sin that these people have committed. So never get involved in anything which is a hanky-panky. That is why to be on the path of Krishna, see, with every other god there is a lot of misuse of funds that happens. Alright? Those gods don't have any say in that matter. But where Krishna is concerned, the worship of Krishna is such that whatever is coming to him, whatever that is offered to him, whatever that is being taken care of, building the temple or doing whatever that is necessary, it has to be used only for that purpose. Alright? For him, for the temple, for the laying down of the entire place, for the Brahmana over there, whoever is the person concerned, the knower of Brahma, only they can use those things. The rest of the people, if they were to rob it, because in the name of Krishna, there are lots of things which people are doing. They do not understand what they are doing. And you should not get involved in any of those things. There are lots of people in India who are gathering money. Okay? They will say, oh, we are going to build this, we are going to build that, we are planting this and we are doing that. No. It should not be done. For Krishna, don't even get into it. Because that is something which he doesn't appreciate. See, the other gods may save you. But whereas Krishna is concerned, he is very clear. The punishment is greater in proportion to the enormity of the sin. This is what one has to be cautious about and never gather funds for him for any other purpose and try to take away those funds from him. Alright? Funds, the temple, the image, the whatever that is there, only meant for that purpose. Got it? So we have come to the end of verse 55 from chapter 22. So we are going to stop over here. So tomorrow we will be doing chapter 23. We are literally coming to the end of the book. It's a very tiny now, I think a few chapters only is left. So yeah, so let us see what we can do tomorrow. So take care, have a great evening. I'll see you all tomorrow in the morning. So tomorrow is Saturday. So Saturday morning satsangs are there. Sunday morning satsangs are there 6:30 to 7:30 in the morning. So I can see you all there tomorrow. Bye.